Welcome everyone to the Friday night news. Well, tonight we have some news for you, some new stuff. There's lots of old stuff, but there's some new stuff. And today we are, what's the date here? The 20th. We're 4 or 5 days before Christmas. So for anybody out there that wants to know a little bit more about Christmas, we just dropped a video today. How does JW.org, let me just see if I could pull it up here. But we just dropped a video today about Christmas and how does JW.org compare to AI when it comes to Christmas. So if you go to our, if you haven't received this link yet, you haven't seen it yet, I'll just show you where you can get it. It's right on Fixing My Faith on our site. And if you go to videos, it's the very last video I dropped. The subject is Christmas, JW.org versus AI. How does JW.org compare with AI on Christmas? It's quite interesting. I think you may enjoy that one. Okay, well, we're going to move over to some news. Here's the one that caught my eye. Watchtower from their community page. So thanks to them for all their hard work in the community. And they have a community page here. This is a thumbnail. They have 60 billion Jehovah's Witnesses. Watchtower wealth is estimated to be $60 billion. Has anybody heard of this yet out there? Let me know in the comments if you have. I thought this was interesting. So far we don't know really a whole lot about Jehovah's Witness wealth. They're not transparent. So on this particular video, if you click on it, you just click on it. Where am I? Comes up. Let's go back to the community and we read more. That's what you do. You click read more and it has all of these links in there. Now I looked up most of these links. We're going to look at them one by one because there's a couple of stories in here in these links. So from Poland on November 5th, 2024, there's this press release here. And this is REM. They're the interior did not violate journalistic standards by writing about Jehovah's Witness. That's what this is about. The Media Ethics Council has received a complaint against the editor. I'm not going to even attempt to say his name, but there it is if you want to pronounce it. He's the author of an interview published on March 16th this year, and as well against the editor and the chief of the interior of this REM considers it groundless. So the members of the branch committee of Public Information Office of Jehovah's Witnesses in Poland have complained about a publication which, in their opinion, violates all the principles contained in the Media Ethics Charter. So imagine that, folks. Jehovah's Witnesses are going after the media if they don't like them. They're going after everyone, but the media? Come on. So here's what it is. The basis of the allegations in the conviction emphasized several times in the complaint that an interview with a woman who was born into the family of Jehovah's Witnesses, grew up in it, matured, and over time was so deeply disappointed that she decided to leave the community. And this material is supposed to be a reliable source of information for the reader about the facts concerning the beliefs and practices of a religious minority, Jehovah's Witnesses, the complaint reads. So, I don't know, JW.org just has to go onto the internet. There's thousands of us on there talking about being shunned for no apparent reason. So we're going to talk about this a little further. Another study going on about being shunned. It's getting serious, folks. So stay tuned. That's some breaking news. We're going to cover that right at the end. And then for entertainment tonight, we got Banana Island Films coming on, Scott Homan. So REM here considers the allegation contained in the JW complaint regarding the violation of journalistic ethics to be unfounded. The Jehovah's Witness Public Information Office could address the issues raised in the interview it criticized, proposing to the newspaper its own publication on the topics raised there. Instead, it provided a portal with a correction, according to REM, rightly rejected by the Whitaker, the head of the newspaper, I guess, because it did not concern in accordance with press law, inaccurate or untrue news, but presented an opinion or position. Now, folks, this is what Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't like. They don't like an opinion or a position. But yet, on JW.org, every day they give an opinion and a position. If you look at my latest video on Christmas, we talk about their opinion and their position. It's quite interesting. Now, when asked by Press-Wise for a comment, they replied, Interior gives voice to heroes who are guided by different values in life, represented different environments. Our portal is a space for exchanging views. We're glad that the Media Ethics Council appreciated the skills and reliability of our authors. What a nice reply. You know, they could have told them, like, give them the whatever. But anyways, they gave them a nice reply. They're professional. But this is just showing that Jehovah's Witnesses, the media, they're chasing the journalists because they don't want to be exposed. This is the problem. And here's another one. Write a reply, proof of powers of the president of the association. Jehovah's Witnesses have had the request for a right of reply rejected for failure to provide proof of powers of legal representatives of the association on the day the response was sent. In a report concerning Jehovah's Witness, a religious association governed by the law of December of 1905, was posted on a website, and Jehovah's Witnesses requested that the website publication director to include a right of reply. And when this request remained unanswered, Jehovah's Witnesses brought the matter before a judge, so a judge could order the website publication director to publish a response. Can you imagine that, folks? Jehovah's Witnesses are going to a judge so they can reply on some media outlet. They got lots of money to spend. So that's why we talk about their wealth, tens of billions of dollars. We're going to get into that next. They have a lot of money. So let's just look at this briefly. Let me know if the volume is good.
Témoin de Jéhovah milliards. Jehovah's Witnesses survey on an RMC story. Vincent Nikwash.
Their fortune is estimated at around $60 billion. It is based on the donations of followers and their real estate assets, which are considerable.
Yeah, they got links for all this. They're just showing you got to turn the captions on. So they're gonna play it here. We're just gonna let them play.
Comment elle vit financièrement? Ah bah elle est alors une fois de plus. On ne parle que de tous ces chiffres. Je ne peux pas vous dire. Je ne peux rien vous affirmer, mais on parle d'une fortune aux alentours de 60 milliards de dollars, bon, qui est basée sur deux choses: le don des adeptes, donc bon,
qui sont fortement encouragés à faire des dons.
C'est pas, effectivement, ça n'est pas obligatoire, c'est encouragé, mais ils le font tous en vrai. Enfin, ça peut être. Je vous laisse imaginer. Vous avez 8 millions, peut-être 10 millions d'adeptes qui donnent entre 20 et 30 euros par mois. Je vous laisse imaginer le pactole.
Ça fait de l'argent.
Et à ça, vous devez, excusez-moi, vous devez ajouter le patrimoine immobilier qui est considérable.
C'est incroyable dans votre documentaire. C'est-à-dire, on découvre qu'ils font construire.
I don't know about you guys, but this is going a little fast for me. These guys speak fast in Poland? French? Is that where they're talking?
Pretty sure that's
So I'm going to slow this down because the captions are coming so fast I can hardly read them. So let's slow that down to about 0.5. And I just want to back this up. There was something here. He was talking about the donations of the followers is so good luck in making its donations.
C'est pas effectivement ça.
It's not actually, I'm going to read this in English. I don't know. You guys can, if you're from another country and you can understand the French. I'm supposed to know French in Canada here. We're bilingual, but I don't know it. So I'll just read it in English to make this simple. Susceptible to being receptive to their message, how she lives. She lives financially. Message how she lives financially. She is then once again, we only talk about all of these figures. And I can tell you, I can't tell you anything, but I can tell you anything, but we are talking about a fortune of around $60 billion, which is based on two things: the donations of the followers. So good, it's so good luck in making donations. It's not actually, it's not obligatory. It's encouraged, but they do it all in real. Finally, that it's maybe, I'll let you imagine, you have 8 million people, maybe 10 million people, followers, who give between 20 and 30 euros per month. So I'll let you imagine the jackpot. It makes money. And sorry, excuse me, you must add the incredible real estate heritage in your documentary. That is to say, we discover that they have all the buildings, all the foundations built by members for free. And they are volunteers. And therefore they resold 10 years later. It cost them $0. And that's where they made their fortune. In fact, it's huge. Their old headquarters, which was based in Brooklyn, the Watchtower. The Watchtower in French was built in the 1930s to, at the time, on the initiative of their second leader, who was called Joseph Rutherford. And that actually cost them nothing. If it cost them in materials, but it cost them nothing in labor. And we all know labor's like 9/10 of a job, right? And they resold it in 2015 to Jared Kushner, who is a type of Donald Trump, for more than $1 billion. That's good, and that's throughout the world, because there is a diaspora of Jehovah's Witnesses who consider all continents, all the countries. It is they are spread everywhere. So,
just so you know,
that's a fact. Okay, there's some more here.
Jared Kushner is Donald Trump's son-in-law.
Oh, Gerald Kushner is Donald
Yeah.
Trump's son-in-law. My good wife just informed me. So
Just so you
it's
know.
all in the family, Donald. You're sitting in a Jehovah's Witness building when you visit your son-in-law.
I think he sold it.
Oh, he sold it?
I think he's
Oh,
already flipped it.
he flipped it, eh?
Yeah.
Demons rolling around in that building, I'm sure. Now, so Vincent Nwash, Jehovah's Witnesses, lives in a mental bubble. Friday, June 2nd, 2023. Did you hear about that one? Now, on Monday, let's see what it says here.
Wash was the guest of Valerie Expert.
That's a little bit slow. We're going to speed that up. I had to do it for the French. because I'm not bilingual. So we're going to go to the normal speed here and try this again. Okay, let's back this up a bit. What's this all about here? Right here.
Vincent Nacquash, Jehovah's Witnesses live in a mental bubble. Friday, June 2nd, 2023. Journalist Vincent Nacquash was the guest of Valerie Expert and Gillis Gansman on Sud Radio on June 2nd, 2023. On Monday, June 5th, 2023, RMC Story will broadcast Vincent Nacquash's documentary, The Enigma of Jehovah's Witnesses.
That's new. We'll have to look for that.
Le lundi 5 juin 2023, RMC Story diffuse le documentaire de Vincent Nacquash, L'énigme des témoins de Jéhovah.
Okay, so that's the end of that article. That's that article. I'm going to move forward. And so that's interesting. So we'll be looking forward to that article to find out their worth. It's going to be exposed, I guess. This journalist is going to expose it, how much they make, how much money they're worth. And the more that happens, the better it is. Now, here's a couple of articles. We're going to move on. This is a lawsuit by Jehovah's Witnesses. It's dismissed. Criticism is permissible. So I'm just going to take a quick look at this. What is this about? Let's see.
The lawyer of Jehovah's Witnesses in Germany, JZD, launched a legal action against the Public Prosecutor General's office in Berlin for failing to pursue a complaint of incitement to hatred, condoning criminal acts, disturbing the public peace, insult, slander, defamation, and abuse of religious communities.
Okay, so did everyone get that? The Jehovah's Witnesses in Germany, remember that shooting in Germany? Well, they're suing. They launched a legal action against the public prosecutor. Imagine that, Jehovah's Witnesses in Germany. They're suing the public prosecutor, the general's office in Berlin, for failing to pursue a complaint of incitement to hatred, condoning criminal acts, disturbing public peace, insult, slander, defamation, and abuse of religious communities, for failing to pursue this complaint. You see, Germany took a close look at Jehovah's Witnesses. They're wondering why this guy did this. Is it because of shunning? Is there other motives? Is there other things that this cult is doing that is causing people to go crazy? And that's what's going on in Germany. So what is Jehovah's Witnesses doing? They're suing the public prosecutor. Let's listen in.
The proceedings are based on an article in the Bild newspaper dated March 11, 2023, which appeared in connection with the rampage in Hamburg on March 9, 2023. In the article, the accused is quoted as follows: "The incident shocked me, but I wasn't really surprised. Many members who have left the Jehovah's Witnesses are severely traumatized. The pressure in the congregations is enormous, and the rules extremely strict." JZD claims that these statements
attempt to incite the feelings of the addressees, the readers, to a hostile attitude towards Jehovah's Witnesses, thereby inciting hatred against JZID and its members, thereby disturbing public peace, that the victims and all the members of the applicant JZID may even be killed because of their faith, thus they have no right to life, let alone the right to live as equal persons in the state community. The applicant JZID is falsely accused of committing crimes and of influencing people in such a way that they become a threat to the population and the state as a whole.
The Berlin Public Prosecutor's Office had refrained from criminal investigations, and the Berlin Public Prosecutor's Office had rejected the JID's complaint. The 6th Criminal Senate of the Higher Regional Court has now decided on July 16, 2024, to dismiss the lawsuit on all counts.
Well, there we go. It got through.
The decision of the Higher Regional Court states, among other things, criticism of a religious denomination, a religious society, etc., is nevertheless generally permitted. This also applies to biting, provocative, ironic, or silly criticism. The fundamental right to undisturbed religious practice does not give religious societies or their members a right to the state, through its courts, to prevent public criticism of their activities, even harsh criticism. They do not formally contain any swear words or other crude expressions, and their content focuses on critical discourse about the applicant, JZD.
Okay, turn that on. So you guys got the gist of that. JDZ is Jehovah's Witnesses. They complained to the state, to the public prosecutor, said, we don't like all of these people talking about us. People have to talk about us nicely. And they threw it all out. It's people's right to criticize and look at these religions. No one's naming any people. No one's doing that. We're looking at the religion as a whole. So there you go, Jehovah's Witnesses. Just quit wasting the people's money, quit going to court, and just take it. Because that's how it works. You reap what you sow. It's in the Bible. You reap what you sow. That's what the Bible says. So that's what's happening. Okay, we're going to move on to the next article. Ex-JW activist for 30 years, pioneer and raised a family. Okay. Stop mandated shunning as a pivotal appeal trial approaches in February 2025. The spotlight turns to the victims who bravely brought the harmful practices of mandated shunning into public view. And there's an article here on that. We'll just take a look at this quickly, see what it's about. This one just hit my Twitter just before I started the news, so I didn't get a chance to look it over. But here it is. We all recognize the guy in the picture there, Frode Jan Frode Nielsen. The courageous voices behind the Oslo court case. This is making changes around the world thanks to this case. It's all of the Netherlands are looking at the jw.org. We're going to look at a case next. This is interesting what's going on next, but let's take a quick look at this. Oslo, Norway. As the pivotal appeal trial approaches in February 2025, the spotlight turns to the victims who bravely brought the harmful practices of mandated shunning into public view. And their testimonies not only influenced Norway's decision to revoke Jehovah's Witnesses status as a recognized religion, but also stripped the organization of substantial financial privileges. And these victims are now preparing to testify again, standing against intimidation and advocating for justice. So among these courageous voices is Jan, a former Jehovah's Witness, who played a central role in convincing the Norwegian government to act. A victim of mandated shunning himself, Jan spent years working behind the scenes to highlight the severe human rights violations perpetrated by the organization. And through tirelessly advocacy, he provided the evidence and the context that led the governments to take this unprecedented step. No other government took this step. So thanks to Norway, we should give them a big hand. Now, I can do that. I do have a clapping mechanism, but
Well, you
I'm
don't
going to
need me.
carry on. We're doing that from here, Jan. Thank you for all your hard work.
Yes.
And Jan's story resonates deeply from losing his social network to enduring years of isolation. He knows firsthand the psychological toll of being shunned. Yet despite his personal pain, Jan has consistently supported other victims, helping them realize the importance of their testimonies. As Patrick Haig, another advocate, emphasizes, these victims are broken and fragile, mentally tortured for years. Yet their voices represent hundreds of thousands who cannot be there in person. Now, the battle continues. Jehovah's Witnesses are appealing the Norwegian state's decision, claiming procedural change to improve their practices. However, critics argue these changes are superficial and fail to address the core issues, particularly the harmful practices of mandated shunning. And this policy isolates members who leave the faith or challenge its teachings, even from their closest family members, causing profound emotional and psychological damage. Now, a global call for support. The Oslo courtroom is expected to host a strong presence of Jehovah's Witnesses, who often appear in large numbers to support their leaders and intimidate opposition. This may be critical for supporters of justice to stand with the victims. Whether you can attend the trial in person or not, there are ways to make your voice heard. Be present. If you have the means, consider attending the on February 7th and 10th. So if you've never been to Norway and you got some air miles kicking around, book them now. Get out to Norway. It's a beautiful country, from what I've seen on TV. I've never been there, but here is an open invitation to all of us ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, so we can get down there and support the ones in Norway. Now, your presence can provide invaluable support to the victims, showing that they are not alone. And send the words of encouragement. If attending isn't possible, send messages of support, or share your own story of how mandated shunning has affected you. Email these two, and I'm going to enclose this article in my news thing, but you email them here, info@stopmandatedshunning.org. So I'm going to get my story in after the show, and we're going to make a special video on that. So I think that's important. And the Stop Mandated Shunning team will ensure your words reach the victims and are shared appropriately. So this is great. Now, spread awareness. Share this article. Raise awareness about the trial. Together, we can amplify the voices of those who have suffered in silence. Share your story. If you have been a victim of mandated shunning, share your story. And there's a link there for that. And mandated shunning is more than an internal religious practice. It is a violation of the fundamental human rights. As Jan Frode Nielsen explains, this is not about isolated frustrations. It's about protecting children and adults from organized psychological warfare. Well, he says psychological harm, but they call it warfare. That's what they call it. We've had so many JW articles, Watchtower studies on this. They call it theocratic warfare. That's what they call it. Theocratic warfare. What it really is it's psychological harm. Psychological warfare against people that stand up and say, hey, I don't believe everything you guys believe. I'm going to quit. You see, so they use a psychological or theocratic warfare on the ones that quit. So it goes on to say, organized psychological harm, ensuring that no one has to face isolation for making personal choices. Your support, whether in person, through words, or by spreading the word, can make a tangible difference in this fight for justice. Together, we can stand with the victims and advocate for a future where mandated shunning is recognized and the prosecuted as the violation of human dignity. It truly is. So, yeah, this mandated shunning by organizations, it has to go away. This is just archaic. It's not even supported in the Bible, what they're doing. It's completely JW org. Okay, so let's take a look at the next article. Oh, it's on shunning. This is Stop Mandated Shunning, Breaking the Silence, the global study to expose the hidden harm of mandated shunning. And this is brand new news, folks. This is December 19th, 2024. This is what's happening. This is news around the world regarding Jehovah's Witnesses. So it's coming. This whole thing on shunning has to come to an end. So what do we say? Shun no more 2024. We're almost there. So expose the hidden harm of mandated shunning, religious shunning. A groundbreaking international research project has launched to document and quantify the devastating human cost of mandated religious shunning, a coercive practice affecting an estimated 40 million people worldwide. This pioneering study will provide critical data to inform policy decisions and raise global awareness about how mandated shunning violates basic human rights. Now, Open the Minds Foundation, a global non-for-profit dedicated to combating coercive control, has partnered with the University of Roehampton, UK. I don't know if I said that right.
I think you might have.
By the way, you can get these cups, Live Your Life with Love, on our YouTube channel. Just hit the store below. Now, to spearhead good Christmas gifts, by the way, these are they're stainless steel cup, and this thing's hot. You've seen it steaming all day. Yeah. Now, here's what's going on. They partnered with the University of Roehampton, UK, to spearhead this comprehensive investigation. So here's what's going on. What is mandated shunning? They say mandated shunning occurs when a high-control religious or ideological group enforces social isolation against members they consider disobedient or non-conforming. JW.org. Now, members are ordered to cut off contact with friends, family, or loved ones, often with devastating emotional, social, and economic consequences. And it raises a healthcare problem, and there's a 10% increase in suicide. These are some of the stats that we've read on this channel, done by professionals. Now, despite its severe impact, mandated shunning remains under research. This study seeks to fill the gap by gathering empirical data on its psychological, social, and legal implications. Research scope and objectives. Led by Dr. Wendy Grendale and Dr. Savan Bapur-Tardi from the University of Roehampton School of Psychology, the study will combine qualitative and quantitative research methods to explore mandated shunning's far research effects. And the research will document mental health challenges such as PTSD, anxiety, depression, self-harm, and suicidal ideation among those affected. The study also aims to examine the experiences of individuals forced to shun loved ones, like in the Jehovah's Witness religion. You know how your family is forced to shun you? They are. They're forced to shun you. If they don't shun you, they themselves will get shunned. They'll get DF'd, disfellowshipped. Now, the study aims to examine this forcing loved ones to shun their family, threats faced by whistleblowers reporting the crimes like child sex abuse within these communities. Now, key focus groups. The targeted community for the research includes, but are not limited to, number one, Jehovah's Witnesses. You see, Jehovah's Witnesses are the biggest. They have the most people that are doing this mandated shunning on this world, on this planet. And they brag about it. We shun people in 279 lands, in 1,000 languages. We print shunning material. They brag about it. So it's about time this research is coming out by professionals. Now, the other ones that are going to be looked at is Scientologists, Haredi Jews. If you're a Jehovah's Witness watching this, you got to be ashamed of yourself. Like this has to wake you up a bit. They're a Scientologist, or do you like that? Like, I know Jehovah's Witnesses don't like that. They think that they shouldn't be in with all these other religions, these cults, but they are. They're at the top of the list. Jehovah's Witnesses, Scientologists, Haredi Jews, Exclusive Brethren, Amish, Mennonites, Baha'i Faith. That'll be Hutterites too if they shun, but the Amish are big on shunning. Together, these groups account for millions of individuals directly or indirectly affected by mandated shunning. Now, a call for global collaboration. Our interdisciplinary approach will combine psychological and legal perspectives, aiming to create a clearer understanding of the societal and individual toll of mandated shunning, said Dr. Grendale. And we invite individuals who experience mandated shunning to share their stories confidentially, and participation is entirely voluntary, and personal identities will be protected at all times. So the executive director of the Open Minds Foundation expressed hope that the study will drive meaningful change. We aim to unite experts, survivors, advocates, and policymakers from around the world in a common mission. And what is that? To end the use of mandated shunning as a tool of coercion and control. This has to end. We're calling these guys charities. We're paying them as charity religions around the world, but yet they're doing this criminal activity, coercion, shunning, mandated shunning. It violates our human rights in every aspect. So it's about time this is happening. This study will shine as a spotlight on the profound harm caused by this abusive practice and inspire global action to protect human rights. So if you're an activist out there and you don't think it's working, it is working. Shun No More 2024, it is working. We have these government agencies, these universities picking up on this, studying this. And once they determine this, the outcome, it forces policymakers and governments to make changes, just like in Norway. And it's going to bring an end to these religions that do this, Jehovah's Witnesses. Why is Jehovah's Witnesses a charity religion? They do nothing to help people. They just print their own literature. They just build websites and build movies. They do not feed the poor. They do not help the homeless. They do not even Toni Morris will get a house. You see, there's a double standard, folks. And if this doesn't cause you to wake up, I don't know what will. Well, this is kind of a short program tonight. I could go on and on about this, but let's take a look at the comments for a bit here. And I'm going to pin this so you guys can, again, tell your story. It's right here. You can take the survey, get involved. We're going to pin all these articles. And the more we get involved, the more we can help this mandated shunning. Mm-hmm. This is excellent. This Roehampton University study into the mandated shunning. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the comments up here. What do we have? AGM, we have this one. What is that one? I was the world premiere
That's
about.
to show for Scott later.
Oh, that's for Scott for
Yeah,
later. Okay,
that's
so that's it.
Yeah, there's.
Oh, no, nothing started.
I don't start. I can't. I'm not on StreamYard.
Oh, you can't start.
No,
You're not on them.
So no, but they're talking about shunning and do Mormons shun? Jane asked.
Oh yeah,
they do shun Mormons.
I'm sure they do.
Okay.
They all shun, but Mormons aren't on the list.
No.
So they don't have mandated shunning. Mormons aren't on the list.
Yeah. So, I emailed you actually another little news story that was sent to us from Joe and Fran.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's another news story.
Yeah.
I'll check it on the email here. Yeah. Let's just go over the comments. Sure. So after, you can wear beards if you're a man. Yeah. Thank you to Norway and Australia. Again, the more we do, the more we're involved as an XJW community, and we get involved in these surveys because we're the only ones that can really talk about this. These universities need us to tell our stories from all around the world. Anybody watching this program, click the links below, get onto these articles, and tell your stories. And this will help these studies go further, especially the Norway one. We really want to get some support going in Norway. So we want to send them an email. If you can get out to see them in Norway, that would be great. What else do we have? Germany crimes. Justin says the Germany crime was done most likely because of an extremist mind control. Religious trauma is a real issue. So being abused since infancy, and it just wrecks people. Abuse and there's no payouts. You go through years of therapy. It wrecks your life. You can't function a lot of times in a normal relationship. Now, James says, I heard Mormons and JWs are very close. Mormons don't shun. They're not on the list for shunners.
Shunners.
JW's Scientologist, that's what you're looking at. I'm sure, I don't know, like do Catholics shun? They don't shun.
No, they excommunicate.
They excommunicate, I guess, if you're a priest. But if you're the common person, I don't know.
When you can be excommunicated for doing a bad sin, but that means that you can't drink the wine and eat the crackers, and you can't go to confession and stuff like that. You cannot participate in the rites and rituals of the church. That's all.
You get that? So if you're a Catholic, you can get excommunicated if you did something wrong. But it doesn't mean you can't talk to your family. No. It doesn't mean you can't have Christmas together. It doesn't mean you can't talk at church, any of that stuff. You can't. It doesn't mean you can't play soccer together. Yeah. It just means you can't take their crackers on Friday.
They're not going to try to ruin your life.
Yeah, no one's out to ruin anybody's life. That's all. Okay, let's move on. And I think the Mormons are kind of the same. When we look at it, most religions are. The JWs, they stand out number one. The shunning is just ridiculous. Jane says, why JW's kids get baptized so young? I don't know. Jesus got baptized at 30, 29 or something. Yeah, they take money out of people's check-ins account. Once they set that up, it just keeps going, and people are too afraid to undo it. It's going to be a sin to Jehovah, so they'll even put it on their Visa cards for this bloody organization. They make it available at assemblies and stuff, so there's a money center. People go down there that you can put $100 to it, whatever you can put on your Visa, they'll take it. They don't give a crap that you're paying 18 to 25% interest. They just want your money. This cult, they don't help people. They do not help the poor. They don't even help their own. This is ridiculous. But anyways, don't get me going on this. Jane Beverly Harwood says this is a reason they've encouraged the beard. I suspected an ulterior motive.
They were talking, I think, about the India bombing. So.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
The Indian bombing. Yes, it is great news, Tammy. I think the more this news comes out, the greater it is. And we all got to keep working together to be free, everything, every year. Just keep working on it. Beverly says, yes, I feel the Indian bombing. Yeah, that's could be why they started doing the beards. I don't know. They're maybe they'll start doing Christmas again. Who knows? Probably not. They'd have to do it in the fall. Jesus, they figure, was born in the fall. And if you watch that video I just put out, AI believes that Jesus was born in the fall. AI believes in the one AI kind of says, well, not sure about Christmas. It's really funny. AI, you can lead it. And I convinced AI that, yeah, Christmas wasn't bad. And then at the very end, AI said, yeah, it's good. It's funny. What? You're shaking your head.
Because I don't think you actually convinced it.
No. My good wife doesn't think I convinced it. Okay. Anyways, who else has a comment here? Get to the bottom here. So what do we have here? They have always not helped others. Jane says they were always not helped others. My mom helped back in the 50s. Wow. People help in the community, in the Jehovah's Witness community. People will help each other in the community, but they won't help their neighbors, like physical neighbors. Like my good wife, we had this conversation. She says, well, did you, in any of the neighborhoods you've been in all the years you've been a JW raising your family, did you know your neighbors? And I had to think, and I had one neighbor I didn't get along with. He didn't like the kids skateboarding outside. So,
right. So my comment was there had to be at least one good neighbor in your neighborhoods you got along with.
None. There was none I knew that were worldly that I got along with.
Right. I forgot, though, that you were a JW, so everybody was already...
World. Yeah, everyone's already wicked, so you're not allowing your kids to associate with the next door neighbor's kids. It's just the way it is. So the neighborhood that you develop is your JW neighborhood. So if your kids are going to visit, well, then some other JWs will drop their kids off at your house, and then your kids will play together. And that's kind of what happens. So there's nothing about neighbor helping neighbor in this religion. Nothing. Now, Tammy brings up a good point. Shunning kills, it doesn't heal. Watchtower has a sinister, demented, cruel, and sick way of how they're a loving organization. And you nailed it, Tammy. It's very sick and twisted. This shunning is sick and twisted. It's going to go away. Watchtower doesn't understand what the meaning of love is. Love doesn't kill, it heals. Asked AI Jesus that. I said to AI Jesus, you told us to divide families. What, so you guys left to watch that video. AI Jesus gave a completely different answer, a good answer, I thought. But it's kind of fun running it off that program. Different programs are out there now. They call them AI Jesuses, but they're just programs, Bible programs. That understand the Bible, right? Computer programs can now go in and read the Bible really quick and kind of get a gist of who each character is. Like, it can do that, just like you and I reading the Bible. So it's interesting. I'm kind of testing it out, trying to trip it up. See, according to anyways, not that I'm a scholar or anything, but so far I was kind of impressed. What did Rebecca say? Jesus said he was the way, life of love. You nailed it, Rebecca. It's that simple, really. Love. Get to know your neighbors. Love people around you. Love is an action. It's not just a word. It doesn't just happen on Valentine's Day or on anniversaries or other special events. But it's every day. It's always in us. We're always trying to love. Just trying to do good. Trying to be a good person. That's it. You see someone that needs something, you try to help them out. That's what being a good neighbor is. Okay, well, I think we're going to bring on our special guest. We still have 10 minutes, and we still have another article to look at.
Please check your email.
Okay, so I'll look at my email.
Joan Francis.
8 arrested in human trafficking. Is that the one?
I believe so. It was the last email.
Okay. Open this link up. Some brand new news here. Don't want to miss this one. Northeast Alabama. Let's pull that up on the screen here. 8 arrested in DeKalb County. Did I say that right? DeKalb? I don't know. The county of human trafficking sting. Let's see what this says. This is LAL. Is that Atlanta? Is that what that means? North Alabama. Northeast Alabama. That's where it is. So the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office arrested 8 men following an undercover human trafficking investigation. Each of the 8 men was aware beforehand that they were meeting a child under the age of 16 for sex contact, according to the sheriff's office. Authorities also stated that some of the men were armed with knives or guns. Jose Gonzalez, 55, of Scottsboro, Jan Miguel Castillo, 44, of Fort Payne, Jonathan Holmes Golden, 40, of Somerville, and Huvan Terrace Williams, 29, of Gadsden, Reed Edgar, 64, of Oshachee. There's a whole pile of guys. Holy crap. So here they all are. If you guys recognize any of these guys, well, they were all arrested and charged with traveling to meet a child for unlawful sex. And the DCSO said that the operation was conducted in a way that it contained and isolated. Investigators added that 7 vehicles, several weapons, and more than $2,000 in cash were seized during the operation. So, what was there, a Jehovah's Witness in there?
Which article are we reading?
Did I read the right article?
Yeah.
Well,
So let me
8 arrested. So
just hold on. I'll see if I have any comments I can add to that.
yeah, so that's
So yes, one of those men is a JW, and he was arrested with 7 other men that are not witnesses.
okay. So one
And
of the
we got this information from somebody who attended the congregation with
Joe and Fran.
with one of these people that was arrested.
Okay.
That's how come he's verifying that.
Okay, so one of these people in this highlighted list
Yeah.
is Jehovah's Witness.
Jehovah's Witness.
That's why we got this.
Yeah.
And he was arrested with all these other guys.
I do believe it was Jose.
Jose Gonzalez.
I believe he is, if there was only one Jose, because this message is telling me that Jose was in the congregation with this person that sent it to Joe and Fran.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
So there's our link.
So there's the link. So
Yeah.
this is what's going on. There's a lot happening, and it doesn't surprise me.
No.
It doesn't surprise me with the way the religion is designed that these pedophiles will get into the religion just because it's easy to do this kind of thing. That's what I see. I see that it's just a religion that they can get away with things. You can be an elder and have more access to children. Like when they go over these questions for baptism, at least when they were doing it with my kids, I did not sit in with my kids. They were underage. Both my kids. They got baptized, went over all the questions with the elders. They'd go and sit in a little room with the elders. Or the elder would come over to your house and they'd go sit in private. They wanted to do this in private. So I don't know about how it is now. I think now I read in the elders book, the latest elders book says that a parent should sit in with an underage child. So they've changed their rules. But in the old elders book, these elders had access to lots of children. It was the way it was. So let me know in the comments if you were underage, if you got baptized underage, did you sit in with the elders on your own, or did your parents sit in with you? It's a good question. They say they don't have access to children, these elders. Okay, so Dave Jordan. Anything new at the JW meeting? Haven't been attending for quite a few years. There's a lot new, Dave Jordan. A lot new. You can wear a beard now and be an elder. All the governing body wears beards. Ladies can wear pants. You don't have to wear a tie out in service anymore. You can just go with a collared shirt. Jacket's optional, depending on how hot it is, I guess. A lot of things have changed. You can say hi to disfellowship people at the meeting. Just hi. You could phone a disfellowship person and invite them to the meeting, but you can't really get into anything else. See, they're trying to lighten it a bit and make this fly in Norway. You see, they lost their religious status in Norway, Jordan. There's a lot happening. I don't know how long you've been away from things, but welcome to the channel. Silent Storm snuck in quietly. ST Copilot. Follow me.
Oh, we're having fun.
You guys are having fun. I was baptized at 16. All the questions were done alone. See, there you go. They're alone with people in the old elders book, anyways. So I think I agree with Tammy. Watchtower will pay for everything they've done and continue to do. This entire leadership will be prosecuted. Mm-hmm. We're working on that, on an article on that. I'm not going to say anything.
You can mention about in New York, though.
In New York, the judges in New York have granted, on a couple of cases, they said, yeah, you can sue the governing body as an unincorporated entity. Mm-hmm. And then they use case law. They said, yeah, here's some other case law because this has happened and it's okay. And they can be sued for making decisions. So the New York court system says they can be sued, but the problem is they sued them. And when they went to the gate of the Watchtower, they couldn't get through the gate. So they served the gate guard, and that got thrown out of court. So here it is. For all you guys out there in the state of New York, you can sue the governing body, but you got to sue them personally.
You have to serve them.
You have to serve them personally.
Yeah.
So you got to catch them when they're going out for a liquor run. Oh no, Tony Morris.
He's gone.
Tony Morris is gone.
But that's an interesting point because the freedom that they previously enjoyed is gone.
Yeah, the freedom that these guys had is stripped of them.
Yeah.
In my opinion, they're home but hiding.
Yeah.
they're home, but they're hiding. HBH. The governing body is hiding.
Yep.
Have they come out of that watchtower since this New York judge has said you can prosecute that bunch? Now, can you prosecute one, or do you have to serve all of them? I don't know. Might have to serve them all. So this is going to open up a huge thing. Let's say you're in a multi-million-dollar case. These cases are multi-million dollars, like the one in Montana. It first got awarded for $35 million.
Mm-hmm.
Watchtower got it thrown out because of clergy penitent privilege, because they wanted to be like the Catholic Church.
Yep.
And they were heroes for a moment. And then the Montana court system said, nope, we're going to allow this to be tried and extended.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some time date issues too with cases, because they ran out of time. And the Montana court said, nope, we're going to open this all up. And they did. And a lot happened in Montana. Thanks to Montana, Brumley, their lawyer, got charged $153,000 for lying in court, along with Gary Bro.
We haven't actually
of them guys.
seen any sign of Brumley since. I don't think he's practicing anymore.
I haven't heard of Brumley.
And we
lately.
can only speculate at how much they settled for the second time.
Yeah,
Because Watchtower pushed it.
Those ladies
Yeah.
went through a jury and they were awarded $35 million the first time. So they went through 5 more years of court court back and forth with lying Watchtower people, lawyers. Imagine, like, Watchtower dropped to their knees. They did not want to go to court again because it was going to court again, and they dropped to their knees and settled. So I could not imagine how much money they paid out those ladies. I'll tell you, it'd be more than 35 million.
Yep.
More. I guarantee you. But they, of course, have non-disclosures, so they can't talk about it. And that's how Watchtower does it. They want to silence everyone. They want to silence the courts. They want to silence the journalists by suing them.
Yeah. So I'll just say that for those ladies, they've been at it for years.
Yeah.
So good for them for finally being
getting
it
out of
over. And yeah, that's pretty awesome. So
Rebecca says they should be sued for at least public of defamation of character, slander, harassment. I think that's all coming. I think what could break the Watchtower is all the disfellowship people get some kind of a
Jane had asked if
joint lawsuit.
Jane asked if they
action.
could be sued for DFing you on stage because it's slander.
Well, it is. It is slander when they announce your name.
Yeah.
Everyone, like even a person that just left, your name gets announced for just disassociating yourself. They treat you the same as disfellowship. And we covered that in the Elders book. And that's why this has to go away. It's destructive and it's just not good. Okay, well, that's everything I have for tonight.
We're just going to kind of hang out and see what Scott's going to get up. Yeah.
No, Dave, don't go back to the meetings. It's not a good thing. You're going into a sink. And there's nothing there for you. That's my advice. Maybe some of the people online can talk to Dave. We have a Discord community, Dave. So if you want to get involved, there's other communities. There's XJW communities all over the place. And if you go to xjw.com, you can email Joe and Fran. And if you're in the neighborhood, they'll invite you to a meetup.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to give a little commercial here, and then we're going to bring on our entertainment section, Scott Homan. He's sitting in the backstage. So stick with the program, and we'll see you in a few minutes here. What do we have here? Don't know how to work my program. Okay, so what do we have? Entertainment tonight. Just going to give it a brief little something. What do we have here? Entertainment tonight.
Play something dancey.
I don't have anything dancey anymore.
Really?
Well, I have JW Night Talk, but I've overplayed it, and I haven't done anything brand new recently. But that's coming. Right now, we're just at the depth of winter here in Canada, so we're living off grid, and we believe it or not, today we had enough sunshine, and we live in the mountains, and there's just a squeak of sunshine that passes through. But we had enough sunshine to build that movie I put out on green energy. I was kind of proud of that. Anyways, we have Ruby on.
Oh, hey, Ruby.
Hey, Ruby, how are you doing?
Hey guys.
We missed you.
Oh my goodness. Vern. What the heck? I just died. Like I fell asleep for like 3 hours and did not get up.
Good for you. You needed it.
You showed up right at the right time because we're just about to bring Scott on. So
Yeah.
all right.
I am so sorry, guys.
Did you have any news? You have
Well,
anything new you wanted to mention? We're not going to get into anything really deep, but maybe you had something new.
Well, I guess I can just give a quick update about myself because it
Sure.
has been one of those days. I cleaned the entire house. And I saw last night, I saw the movie, The Passion of the Christ. And if anybody has seen that movie, I think that's why I've been out of the loop for
Really?
a while. Yeah, that movie really affected me. Me and my cousin saw it, and I have never seen, Jesus depicted like that, and it really affected me. So that's why I think that's why I've been out of the loop, guys. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
Did it affect you in a good way?
I think it did, and I kind of feel like that's why my mom didn't allow me to watch those movies when I was a JW, because it just brought up so many emotions of how they treated him, how they tried to accuse him, how they crucified him, and I've never I've never seen that. You know what I mean? Like I've always thought of it like as if they just killed him because of blasphemy and that's it. They didn't beat him or they didn't drag him through the city or, like that type of torture kind of. So that's why I think it kind of affected me. And then me and my cousin were talking for days about just like a lot of things, a lot of like political things. And like everything seems to be coming together, and we've been in deep thought for such a long time. And today I was like, you know what? I need to clean my house. I need Christmas is coming. I need brand new beginning.
Good for you.
Yeah, and I cannot believe it. Everybody did not wake me up, left me sleeping there for 3 hours by myself. And I literally just woke up right now. And I feel like, what is going on?
We can even run Ruby's
Why
news
don't
after.
you stick on with us,
Yeah.
and we're going to bring Scott Homan on. He's
Let's-
backstage.
Yes.
Would you like to join us?
Yeah, Scott's visiting us. I think he's still overseas. So
He's
let's
in
get,
New Zealand,
yeah,
so we
let's
want to
get
get
to Scott, please,
we want to
and
get
then-
to Scott right away. So
And
let's
then-
pull him on the stage here. Hi,
Awesome.
Scott. How are you doing?
Hello. Good to see you both.
So what time is it where you're at, and where are you?
It's 4 p.m. and I'm in Otatahi. I don't want to say Christchurch, but there you go. I'm in Christchurch, New Zealand. They go
cool.
by the indigenous name here, and their church is destroyed. So just wanted to put that out there. Christchurch, New
really?
Zealand.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go. So,
Cool.
Yeah.
So what do you
It's going
have
well.
for us today, Scott?
Well, you've all heard from me for years. If you don't know who I am, I made a movie called Witness Underground. But the reason I'm in New Zealand is because Cult Awareness Conference, the first conference of its kind on the planet, invited me and the film to have our international premiere. And I spoke for the Cult conference. There was 20 panels, and I and a couple other XJW activists spoke on a panel called Rock the Watchtower. So it was Lara Kaput and Shane Meechan. Lara's from Australia, Shane is from New Zealand, and we all have very different ways of engaging with the topic and activism. Mine with filmmaking, Laura's with legislative recommendations. and Shane's with being an informant to the government when they did their investigation into the religion here in the last few months. And so that was really interesting. And so I put up some video about that recently, but I can talk more about that if anyone's interested. And then the film, just like, it's now available for free globally to watch everywhere. So that's pretty exciting. And call to action, if anybody liked the film, leave a review on Rotten Tomatoes. That would be incredible. But hi, how are you guys?
We're doing good. We're doing good. So you're in New Zealand now. It's summer down there, right?
Yeah, which is interesting because it's like everyone's like, "You ready for a summery Christmas? It's getting hot out." Like their vibe for Christmas is always like white wine, barbecue in the backyard, and getting sunburnt, which sounds pretty great for me.
Different, eh? Now, are you where are you normally from? What's your?
I'm from near you guys, actually. I think you said mountains. I'm maybe a little far from you, but I'm from near the Canadian border in northern Wisconsin. So culturally, I feel like affinity towards y'all in the north.
So you're used to a white Christmas? You guys get snow in Wisconsin?
Yeah, in fact, we would go. My family tradition when they joined the religion was to not do the holiday anymore, but to go snowboarding. And weirdly, like the mountains in Upper Michigan, where I'm near where I'm from, are filled with Jehovah's Witnesses in the resorts, and they'd even put on Kingdom Melodies. Weirdly, at times.
Yeah,
it's like I was just micro convention.
I threw out a little video this morning, and that's what I was mentioning on the video. When I was a JW for 30 years, I raised my family in the religion. We had our own Christmas, and we didn't give gifts or anything because we didn't want to get caught, by anybody for doing that. We wanted to. I had one year where we did give gifts, and I gave the kids each. We went to a big mall, and I gave the kids each $100, and I said, "Go buy whatever you want." And they did. They went. They were probably 16, 15. They bought shoes or something. You can't buy much with $100, but back then you could. So, anyways.
Video games,
other Christmases we go skiing, things like what you're saying, snowboarding. So I think
so that was like, as a Jehovah's Witness, you did this modification to make it fun.
Yeah, we do it at Christmas because you get 2 weeks holidays as your employer gives you time off. Well, I was the employer, so I just took the time off. But everyone gets Christmas holidays, right? And what do you do if you're a JW? Sit around, go out in service? I don't want to do that. No one wants
self-loathing.
Christmas.
While everyone else is having fun, do nothing.
Yeah.
Better to do something.
So anyways, we're here to talk about what's going on in your life with the music now. And now you're getting out there and you're telling your story. Now, do I click any of this? What am I supposed to do?
Share the comment that AG left, the starred one.
The starred one.
Yeah, this is for you, Scott. Here, check this out. AG
74.
Was at your world premiere.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. No, I'm just gonna trade places with you and Ruby. Yeah. And do that again, so you can look there. Now we can see your face.
There we go. So Scott, you premiered with the Witness Underground documentary at the Decult conference.
Yes, in fact, they invited me to show the film as to add something of value to the conference. But it was the only piece of art to show there. So it was like a lot of talking, a lot of sharing experiences, a lot of professionals and like cult experts. Yanya Lalich was there. Gilly Jenkinson was there and a bunch of other famous people. Also like psychologists, therapists, people that work professionally in the space trying to upskill to like work with the influx of former religious people, former cult members from many different types of cults. There's probably like 25 different ones represented, like political ones, tantra, yoga, sex cults, religious cults, new Christian movements, new religious movements, I think from like the 1800s, new religions, all different kinds. Exclusive Brethren were there. Children of God, lots of different kinds. Ista, which is like a tantric sex cult group from Israel, all kinds. This is all over the place, but like they showed one movie. Yeah.
How was it received with everybody?
I was blown away. I mean, it was, and also they had human rights activists there from the government who were like, "How do we deal with this? Like, where is the blurry line? Like, we can't quite see it. Like, can you guys help us?" I thought it was incredible, and it was also interesting to me because I have been like not religious since leaving the religion. But then like day 2, I was like, wait, there's people here that are clearly coming from the perspective of believers, and everyone's getting along so well, and just curious and like open-minded. It was just like, it was like 450 people on, just sharing and listening to each other. It was really nice.
Wow.
Well, hopefully something comes from it, like all of this
Well, it already
informing
has.
the world of, just what the JWs have been up to. I think it's making a difference now for sure. So,
Well, look at that one.
I think so too. Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Shauna.
Look at this one article here, this Breaking the Silence, this global study to expose the hidden harm of mandated religious shunning. And they name Jehovah's Witnesses number one, along with Scientologists, these Haredi Jews, exclusive Brethren, the Amish, and the Baha'i faith. They all shun. The Baha'i faith, I don't know, you don't hear much about them, but they're around.
I got in trouble because of the Baha'i when I was still a Jehovah's Witness. I met some
Really?
Baha'i. I was like preaching at a park, and there was people that had a booth with religion. There were people like selling crafts and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, what is this thing? I never heard of the Baha'i." And then we ended up chatting for like an hour, and they invited me to go sailing. And they're like, "Oh, you're a Jehovah's Witness? Like, we should hang out." And they're very inviting. And then I grabbed their like 2-page brochure, and then one of my Jehovah's Witness roommates at the time was like, they took it and reported me to the elders, and I had to have like a judicial committee about having a piece of paper in my bedroom. And they're like, you can't have that. And I was like, they're like, we can tell you what religions you can research and how to research them through our literature. And I was like, yeah, but I read all your literature. It doesn't say anything about the Baha'i. I'm doing my own research, and like, you're not allowed to do it. And like, basically threatened me.
wow.
Yeah.
The Baha'i likes to get JWs if they can pull them.
Oh, do they?
He got threatened. Did you hear?
Well, from the elders for
Yeah.
having a discussion with the Baha'is. Yeah.
It's silly. I actually called them out. I was like, you're ridiculous. You can't tell me I can't learn about things.
How do you, I did that with that book. Remember the book, The Secret, came out, and a couple of JWs started leaving, And they said, oh yeah, they joined The Secret. So I was out pioneering, and I ran into a guy that was into The Secret, right? I thought it was a cult. So I went to the elders, and I said, what should I do? And they said, well, research it a little bit more. We don't know anything about it. So I got online and started researching it. I kept falling asleep as I was watching the documentary because of my cognitive dissonance. But then eventually I left the JW organization, and I bought a bunch of the books to The Secret. I thought it was great when I first left, because I thought, well, here's like the Bible, the law of attraction, it's all kind of like the Bible. And you know how it is when you first leave, you're trying to figure this all out, but there's really nothing to figure out.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. I think it's deeply overwhelming when you first leave.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, okay, I need to learn about my doubts. And so I like read all these books about how evolution works. I read books about like making meaning. Like what if I was given meaning, I was told the thing I was doing or the group I was part of was meaningful and purposeful. And then I was like, well, if that's not the thing, then what is? And it was like, okay, I need to actually solve this problem because I'm going to go crazy if I don't. But yeah, so I can see getting wrapped up in, or not wrapped up, but like going down the rabbit hole of manifestation and The Secret.
I think a lot of us ex-JWs would go down different rabbit holes. We come out, realize, hey, that's just like the JW religion. Yeah. I'm not going there again. I don't know.
Yeah.
One of the key takeaways.
Have you ever?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Scott.
Oh,
my good wife wants to come in here and do this interview. I should just hand the mic over.
I'm happy to share.
Anyways, let's talk about the banana. The what you're doing here.
Okay.
We're looking at your website. This is brand.
Go ahead and scroll down a second because I just released the movie in a new way. Just because I think like YouTube is just a different group of people. But basically, all these different clips with the rainbow colors are just short segments of the film in order. So that's if you can now watch the film like in any place on the planet for free. So like there's like 2 more are coming. I have to replace the image on that one. But anyway, so there's new ways to watch it. I've just been trying to make sure that people can see this. It's my life's work. I love it. I would love to hear what people in the audience think of the film if you've seen it. And it's always like I've kind of spent a year now after the Kickstarter doing full time, just like trying to get the film out in different markets and try to expose people to its existence. And it's exhausting. And I'm sort of like, okay, how much more of my time can I spend on this one thing? I need to do something else. But the film is out in like every way I could possibly get it out into the world. And I hope it makes an impact. I'd love to hear what you think or what people in the audience have thought of the film. Jay says it's a great film. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it, and I've had the pleasure of getting an exclusive interview with Ryan Sutter a while back. And so that was a great conversation that we had on my channel if anybody's interested. But when I saw that movie documentary, it really touched me in a way because we used to have family parties like that with music, and that was like the only thing that we had that we can do or was allowed to do was listen or have these parties. And that's kind of what I saw in this group was music brought them together. And they kind of broke up throughout the years when people were getting disfellowshipped. And it felt so sad. So when you're watching this family almost, right, because they're a group of people that essentially became a family, it was beautiful. And then to see them later in life reconnect, or you're giving them it's like you're giving them a platform, you're giving them a way to tell their story, or else we would have never known about them. And that's kind of how I feel. It's like we never know what happens to people either after they leave, or why they were shunned, or what did they do. It's like you're always in question mode, and you never know. So it's kind of like Scott made a movie about, well, this is what happened to this group, and this is how they became a band, and it's a whole story. You are telling a story just in movie form, in documentary form, video form, and I love that. I wanted to ask you. You kind of had the chance to leave this in your past, right? Because you were half JW, and then you also had exposure to the world. I believe it was either your mother or your father that was not JW.
Yeah, my mom, like, she'd go, but she wouldn't participate in a lot of aspects. She held her boundaries at like no preaching, no talks.
Right.
She would go sometimes, not all the time. She believes some of it, not all of it.
Right.
A hard line to walk in that religion, a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Were you ever baptized, just to refresh my memory?
Yeah.
Okay. Because, I always talk about this, that is like, sometimes we just have the opportunity to leave this all behind us and never come back, never talk about the religion, never expose it, or just start a brand new life and just move forward. But some of us come back and say, you know what? No, I'm gonna do a channel. I'm gonna do something, and whatever gift we have, it could be a book, it could be videos, and we come back and we kind of expose this cult for what it really is. And you kind of took it a step further that I've never seen. And I'm always wondering, like, what motivated you really to do this documentary? That's my first question. And then my next question would be, are you going to continue doing more things like this about XJW or JW subjects, or are you just going to just like do whatever, like, open up your talent to other subjects?
Great questions. Thank you. The big motivating factor for me was I spent a long time unwinding my brain from that religious group and the culture and like the connections I had with people. Like I was like the least likely person to be retained in the religion.
I was kind of worried. I can wait.
No, this is good.
You guys, your mics, I don't know if you're asking me a question or not. But the big motivating thing for me was like a couple years after getting out, my entire family started like actually in the first few months of me like stopping going, and I'd like not seen my family for, already I'd been living far away like for 10 years at that point. I didn't see them. I saw them like once a year maximum. And then they were starting to like delete me on Facebook, like social media. And then they would like not talk to me, but then they would like all of a sudden answer my question 6 months later, or like say hi 6 months later. And then they'd re-add me as a friend. And it was like, well, this is really weird. What's going on? And then at some point they made this like hard line. They're doing that like 3 or 4 times each over the course of a couple of years, where it was like weird. There's a lot of disconnection. Then they were like, we've all decided we're going to shun you and we have to do that. And you've forced us to do this. And I was like, so you're not going to have our obligatory family hangout or phone call once a year? Like, I'm in my 30s. What the hell are you doing? Like, what is going on exactly?
Yeah.
And they're like, you've made your choice. I'm like, I made my choice. Like, what are you talking about? And they wouldn't talk to me. And I was like, oh, they're being, it's obvious actually, but it's like they're doing the culty thing. They're doing the shunning, and they feel like they have to, like a gun to their head, like Jesus will murder them if they don't do it. And they're trying to tell me it's my fault. And like, I knew that this would be the consequences for some reason, that they would have to do this thing if I was honest with them, like somehow I'm being punished for being honest and realistic or sharing with my family how I feel or what I'm thinking. Or a book that I read, like somehow that was shattering their world and I to be punished forever for that. And I was like, no, I'm not going to tolerate this. And that I tried to shut away in my life for a long time. I moved abroad. I was like, oh, if I'm not going to have any family in this country, why should I stay in this country? I kind of want to live abroad anyways. And then like that thing that they did, the shunning, was like they're continuously making that choice. And anything I sent to them, they wouldn't respond, but I know they would read it. Like I could tell, because I would find out like, oh, you said that thing, and it's like, oh, she read that email a year ago. Okay, I know that they're reading the emails I sent them. So I'm like, I'm gonna, if I make a movie, it's not just for my family. It's like it's for everyone's family. It's like such a bold move, and I've always kind of been interested in doing like a feature doc. And I've also, while I was a witness, I watched every film I could find about the witnesses externally. And so I was like, maybe I was an oddball doing that, because I would like look online and try to find media about the religion from an objective lens or even a subjective lens, like from, what they would call apostates. And I would watch them and just like, they're not being dishonest in this film. This is actually really neutral. This is exactly what happens. Like worlds apart from the Danish film. I was like, that's perfect. They totally captured exactly how that culture works. I was like, this is like Apostasy was like another, great film on that topic, but I was already out of the religion at that point. But like, I just was like, this is going to send a message that will hopefully have a social impact, not just for active Jehovah's Witnesses and not just like, hell yeah, from the ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, but like any ex-cult member would have that vibe, because it's like, hey, I've seen a lot of films from about other religions that it's like, they have very similar dynamics, culty dynamics.
Yeah.
And then, but I was really hoping to hit the public, because like the public doesn't know anything about this religion. I throw them a bone at the beginning. I'm like, yeah, you know them because they knock on your door. They look like Mormons. They don't celebrate Christmas and they don't celebrate birthdays. Yeah, you're correct. Everybody, 999 of 1,000, you've heard that and you're correct. But also look at the emotional abuse. And also ex-Jehovah's Witnesses have successfully navigated mind control. These are not just broken humans. These are people that have figured out a thing about humans that's like interesting. And I think that's more kind of what I've got to after making it. I'm like, our community that on this channel, we're all have this special ability to see through the nonsense.
Scott, tonight we we looked at these studies. These are surveys going on right now. They want to hear from Jehovah's Witnesses. So the one in you can send links and stuff up to this one if you want to be a voice behind what's going on in Oslo. But here's a study that's going on. This one here, Breaking the Silence, global study to expose the hidden harm of mandated religious shunning. And we're going to put a link to that. And I'm wondering if these guys got your story. Some of these people that are these university students that are building these studies. These are all university students funded by the government.
Which government?
That one, they're putting 300,000 into it. This shunning. This is
incredible.
Open Minds Foundation.
Okay, I know them.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
put
Stephen Hassan's group, right? Open Minds.
This is Roehampton University study into mandated.
I'm wrong about that.
Yeah, it's brand new. This one, I just
Open Minds Foundation. Okay,
yeah,
that's
it's
great.
December,
No, I haven't heard of those.
Yeah, this is brand new news, December 19th, 2024.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot happening right now on the world. I think what you were just ahead of the game with what you did. And I think the world's catching up now, and they're going to want to hear from you and all of us. because
Yeah,
they want to know what's happening. How does it affect you? How do you feel?
I would love to be in contact with these people and get in touch. So please send me the links. But also, if you know any of the people involved in those, please get us in touch, because I was thinking about, like, how do we, because the Jehovah's Witnesses are now, I've read, appealing the loss that they had in Norway. And it's about shunning, and they're trying to prove that shunning doesn't exist anymore because they changed the language around it and they let people say hello.
What a
It's
joke,
like, okay, so you just like turned the dial on like behavior control, but you didn't remove the emotional abuse at all. You know, like, tell my family to call me then if they're allowed to. They won't do it. It's been 16 years. And I'm not the only one. There's like millions of us who are being shunned actively, and they have to, with a gun to their head, because if they don't shun, they'll get kicked out and get shunned. And like, that's their whole way to keep their religion working. So I'm absolutely down to help out. I definitely would love to get the film in front of the right people. As just like one more example of how shunning can be demonstrated. I mean, that's what the film is ultimately, is a demonstration of shunning. And like, look, not everyone commits suicide or dies at the end of the shunning. Here's people who didn't die. But a lot of people die, and that could have been the film I made, you know? But like, we made a film that's sort of heartwarming and like, hey, look, like, don't let this wrap up your whole life, you know? Make a song about it and then try to live another life outside. Like, move forward.
Wow. I can't believe you just said that. That's amazing.
Right. I was going to ask you, Scott, was there any one of these videos you wanted to play as an ending after, you know, when we conclude?
What would be good to play
as a conclusion? Anything you want us to play the audience tonight?
Well, do you think everyone's seen the trailer or seen the movie yet? I would maybe just play in the trailer, because it kind of wraps up the idea pretty nice and gives the vibe, which if you scroll down on that same page, the big
right here
video player, a little farther down, keep scrolling. There's a trailer's at the bottom, I think now. Am I wrong? That one. Yeah.
It's a big website, eh? You built that?
Yeah, it's a long scroll now. I gotta.
So this is the one. So we'll play that when we conclude, and that's how we'll conclude the show tonight.
Sounds great.
Hi, I'm Rhett Sutter, and I'm doing a demonstration tape on the modern audio equipment that our studio has, just in case you want to come and record in our modern studio.
Nuclear Gopher was a record label and online community of Jehovah's Witnesses who all did indie music. It just blew up, but it all stayed in these weird little bounds.
Witnesses can listen to music. It's not like a Footloose situation where like the preacher's like, no music ever, but stuff is frowned upon.
You need to really beware of that disco beat, because that disco beat invites the demons. This is not inviting the demons. It's Lionel Richie.
They think that any moment now, God is going to destroy the world.
At 17, I basically thought to myself, what am I doing? Is this how I want to live my life? Like, do I even believe this?
If they just treated people all right and had some kooky beliefs, I could totally live with it. But committed suicide because they're gay and they're a witness. Everything just changed.
Music was my savior at that point.
The moment people started taking it seriously is the moment that someone would start to, well, maybe we shouldn't be doing this.
We started talking. And she's like, well, so if we split up, would you still be a witness? What I actually said was, no, I don't believe any of it anymore. And I never saw her again.
Your wife?
Yeah, I never physically saw her again.
It was an orphan, hidden this
Nuclear Gopher was very special. It created a space for people to be eccentric and creative, and also as healthy as you could be in that culture. And while it lasted, it was like the best.
Thanks, Ruby and Vern and Shauna. Appreciate it.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, I just want to wrap up by repeating what Scott said, because that really, really hit me hard, was that this is kind of like the ones who survived. You know, they didn't commit suicide, because so many of us do. I mean, I'll be honest and admit that I've thought about it. And this is kind of like, these kids, grew up to become adults, and they just didn't want to be Jehovah's Witnesses anymore, and they lost everything. They lost their band, their group, their music kind of paused for a long time until Ryan started making music again, and they kind of reconnected, but they lost everything, just like we've lost everything. And Scott kind of put that together in a movie for us. Like, I love that. Thank you so much for doing that for our community, and I love it so much. I thank you so much, Scott.
Now, Scott, how do I buy that movie? If I want to buy it online, I'm gonna put this. Should I put this link in the description of this video?
Yeah, the website link shows all the ways to watch it, and you can rent it and buy it on Amazon and Apple. You can buy it here on Vimeo. You just saw if you want to watch it on your laptop.
You can just hit.
I try to make it
right there and buy it. Right there.
Yeah. I try to make it as easy to get it anywhere on the planet as possible over the last 3 years, in every way that I could release it. And right now, actually, for your audience who's watching this, if you've gotten this far, I'm doing a special campaign. Actually, I can plug, there's a guy who just released a book. It's on pre-order right now called The Truth About Demons, Cameron Gilchrist. And so if you go on my channel, you can see a thing with him. But with him, I did a little launch. So I'm going to offer this to your channel as well, that it's Christmas time, and I'll buy my movie for you. You just have to pay shipping. So if you go on my website, I'll give promo code to Shauna. She can put it in the
website here
description. Yeah, on there. If you scroll to the recent videos or live, there's a recent episode with Cameron Gilchrist. Go to click live where it says, and the most recent one is the author interview on the top left. So we just did that interview yesterday or 2 days ago, and in The Truth About Demons is a great little memoir. It's like reads like a narrative, like Hardy Boys, like adventure. It's my new look.
That looks pretty good.
That's my party outfit for a fun party here in New Zealand. Try to have a little fun on the channel, like you do on your channel, Vern. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I think that's great. I'm going to watch this actually after we get off the show here.
Yes, this is my takeaways from Decult, that video particularly, which is kind of nice. Just to kind of like, how do I capture a 2-day event with 500 ex-cult members and cult professionals in a video? Like, that was a crazy weekend for me. Life-changing weekend for sure.
Now, I want to go back here. Now, this is so easy to buy. It shows up in Canadian here. Is that because I'm YouTube? If you're in the US, it would show up in US?
Correct, yeah. I put it to every currency they offer. Like, I lowered it all to the lowest prices for that Amazon has. Just like, that's the same price if you want to rent or buy.
I can just do it with my Google account, right? That's how easy this is, right? Everyone has a Google account, and we can just buy that. Just put in your name, and you have it. So here's a way we can encourage everyone out there who's watching tonight to support Scott. You can go on, you can watch his movie. That's the best way to support a creator. They want you to, we all want you to watch our videos. And this one is done professionally. There's a lot of musicians there. I haven't seen a lot of these musicians, so this is interesting. Are you going to grow this? Like, I know there's a guy in Canada here, Jonathan, you know him. He does singing and stuff. There's who's the other guy that sings? He's
Compassionate Apostate.
Yeah, there you go. Compassionate Apostate.
Yeah, we have a lot of singers.
Italian in London, I believe, working on his masters. Yeah.
So this is great.
Yeah, there's a lot. So what I've been finding through doing this is that my whole channel is like artists escaping the Jehovah's Witnesses. Like, what music did you make about your exit experience leaving the religion, or like what philosophical ideas or new worldview did you have and like made into a painting or a song or a book or whatever. So most of the people I've worked with are authors and musicians, but some painters and other filmmakers as well. One of my first interviews, Debutante, the Polish ex-JW, made a film about the woman's experience being interrogated about sex by 3 men in the creepiest possible way, as they do. That's just came out, which is really cool. But yeah, one thing I wanted to say though is like I've been releasing this film in learning how to do that and distribute it. And so yes, please fund it. I would love that. That makes my world make sense, and it really means a lot. However, you can also watch it for free. There's no longer a monetary barrier between you and watching this film and sharing it with people. And what I was trying to say, just to be clear, I will buy the Blu-ray for you. So I'm going to give you a promo code, and it's my gift to you, because I want as many of these Blu-rays out in the world, because people don't throw away Blu-rays. They give them to their friend, or they sell them at garage sales eventually, you know? It's like in the long time arc of a piece of art. I want this to change as many hands as possible and be a thing that people are like, you have to watch this. And like, maybe it's the only Blu-ray you'll get, or like send it. I'll buy it for you and send it to an address anonymously to your parents who are still in the religion, or your sibling or something.
That's a great idea.
Why not? It's Christmas and they don't get to celebrate, but we can give them a gift anonymously. So I'll take that. I'll put the promo code in. Let me just verify it, and I'll put it in the chat. But I really appreciate you guys, and I really appreciate you sharing and the quick interview. And yeah, I love what you're doing. I love that there's like a radio aspect to your channel where you're like, any XJW can come onto our channel and share the audience and grow the thing. It's like a radio program. It's cool. Every hour is a new program.
And we should do a watch party on Discord where we can kind of stream it with everybody.
Christmas party.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay. Yeah, we definitely will.
We should do an all-day Christmas live, Ruby.
Yeah, I gotta get ready for the holidays. I need to stop playing around.
I think it's all good.
Thank you so much for coming. I love this for you. This was a project that really blew up for us. You know, I don't know about the world, but for us, you are a big name for us. You know what I mean? So just to wrap it up, where are you going next? What's next for you?
I'm trying to just get back to Vietnam to visit old friends, because I lived there for 5 years, and that's where I made my first movie, and I concepted this movie. And I concepted actually and started making the XJW Coming Out series that's on my channel, on my YouTube channel that was just shown there, in Hanoi, with a Hanoian former Jehovah's Witness that I met, a Vietnamese woman who left and then joined and then left the religion. So she like went through the ringer like we have. And I was like, I can't get away from this religion. I moved to the other side of the planet to an atheist communist country on purpose. And there's like ex-Jehovah's Witnesses here. I'm like, God damn it, no. It's like, get out of my world. And that's actually one of the reasons why I made the film, because I was like, I'm literally as far away from this faith as I can find to be on the planet. And it's here. I was like, I want to like just relax. And my roommate's like, oh, me too. My mom's a Jehovah's Witness. And I was like, good God, my roommate's an ex-Jehovah's Witness.
I just,
how is this happening?
I went down to the town bulletin board. We moved to this new community here in BC. And we went down there and I looked, and here's a Jehovah's Witness card on there. You know, those little business cards that they hand out. So we bring it back, and they have a stamp on the back with who it is and their email, their Gmail address. You know, the people that put it up there. And so I'm saying to my good wife, she says, "You don't email them. You don't email them. It's a governing body you're after." And she's right. Yeah, the people are just the people, right? The governing body.
They're going to be us soon, hopefully, just like us. We want them to join our ranks with excitedly.
They're people. So it's great what you're doing. Thanks, Ruby, for coming on. I just think the community's growing, and as we grow, we want to work together. So if anybody out there, if you can support Scott, let's all pitch in. Let's watch his movie. It's a great movie, and as Ruby was saying, it tells a story through music and how these young people have escaped through their music, and they tell their story. It's just great. I think that's great what you're doing, Scott. Keep up the good work.
And if you like it, and you can leave a review on Rotten Tomatoes or anywhere, really. If you can share it with someone who's not an ex-Jehovah's Witness, share it with them for sure, but like share it with regular people, because they can then understand how our lives are.
Thanks again,
Thanks
Scott.
so
Thanks to the audience out there. Thanks for sticking with us. And until next time, keep living your life with love. Bye for now.
Take care.
See you guys on the next video. Bye for now.
Really appreciate it. Bye.